I'm Henry Snotson, and you're watching Snot. Welcome to the bone-crunching second episode of Snot League Season 9. Just like last time, we've got a special guest. Fierce Coach Kozilek, mastermind behind the merciful maulers of Shalya, dishing out holy havoc in Group A. Welcome! Welcome!
Thank you, little one! May the light of Shalya shine upon you!
Can't miss that you're an orc leading a human squad. Those humble Shalya monks must have raised an eyebrow at their green-skinned boss. How's that partnership working out?
In front of the eye of Shalya, there are no races, my friend. We are all benevolent child under her light. Either you like it or not. And our shared goal is to bring that light inside everyone, either by our words or our fists.
Round 1 was a bloodbath with bodies piling high, yet your maulers dodged serious injuries. Is that down to your lads being top-notch hospitalers, patching up wounds with divine finesse?
It is true that our medical skills is advanced, but I can assure you that we are forbidden to use those skills upon ourselves. To heal, one must suffer. To reach new height in the light of the goddess, one must fall. That is her teachings. We use our skills on the pitch against our enemies, making sure that their suffering is on par with us, showing them the path to enlightenment.
Love the fire! The pitch is drenched from round 1. Ready for today's carnage, Kozilek?
I am indeed, my friend.
Let's dive into the mayhem, kicking off with a Group C rat brawl. We start with a brutal Skaven clan derby in Group C. Cheese grinders, missing all their linemen, had to lean on journeymen. How'd those loners hold up, Kozilek?
Not so good, my little friend. Not only, in fact, they get their bones absolutely wrecked, but even 3 of the official rostered player gets sent to the bench by the brutality of the armored Moors.
Like last match, the Mordkin rats went for their sneaky stabbing. But this time, their knives met proper Clan Moor's plate armor. This is maybe not the best uniform for sweatering heat, but those undead rats felt it worse, wilting under the sun. Gah! I pity the fans choking on that Skaven stench. Ugh!
Ha 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 ha! You can say it, my little friend. The heat surely cracked those bone rats, forcing them to stay in the bench with their broken companion, watching the others lose the game in a wonderful fashion.
Clan Moors showed no mercy, shredding anyone who fell into their claws. With barely any opposition, they scored 2 touchdowns and were whiskers away from a 3rd. Brutal stuff. What sealed that rout?
The worst enemy of the Morkin are the Morking themselves. Those who died and defied Shalya are deemed to fail, no matter what.
Let's swing to Group A for another clash, where Liberis' Seesaw Explosions rose to challenge the Ishan Moonflowers. Both teams got proper thumpings last round. How'd they fare this time?
Not so good, as we are going to see, my friend. Despite the score, this match was the fare of failure from both sides.
Looks like the Pharaoh's curse still clings to Seesaw Explosions. Those bad rolls followed them from round 1. Skeletons fumbled their chainsaws again, Necrotechs botching it left and right. Any fix for that mess?
Not only the Necrotechs, but the Bomber too! I suggest those poor guys to find a good bone medic and get fixed, because it's clear that in this league, if you are made of bones and necromancy, you are set to fail. Believe me, I beat a bunch of them 2-0.
At least they scraped a touchdown. Maybe that'll lift the curse. Still a rough day for Liberis. Let's hop to Group B for some demonic chaos. first Group B scrap Kozilek. Bet you're no fan of those Zinch demons. So what's your take on the gnomish ground force?
Gnomes? I love gnomes! Cooked in the oven! Stuffed gnomes! On the grill! I love them!
Yes. Kinda. Don't forget that hired Bretonian lad, a force to be reckoned with. But his magic stick? Bit wilted today. Everything went wrong for the demons. Sun blinding their throwers, botching their passes, and their screamer outright refused to play nice with the team. Then, at the end, we saw a brilliant gnomish throw spark an absolute massacre. Wild one, what stood out for you?
What stood out? Those brilliant gnomes managed to stop a touchdown from Victor Soar after he was kicked downfield, taking away to those horrible purple demon their only chance to glory. Speaking of glory denied, we should move on to the next match.
We're back with our fierce orc classes. I've missed them dearly. This time, the Savageois faced the scrawny, dirty, grotty hijinks. Those puny grots were no match. What did you think of the orcs' rampage?
I think I am in the wrong group of this tournament, Henry. I feel this urge to, rising in me.
The orc lasses played it textbook, focused on flattening those grots left and right. Oh, in moments like these, I'd love to be one of those grots, up close with those boots. I mean boots, and their footwork. That mix of brute force and finesse smashed out a 4-0 win, racking up a stunning 28 SPP, 2 points past Carrot Cracker Packers' record. Still shy of Jasker's Pirates' 31 SPP, but blimey, what a show! What made those orcs so unstoppable?
You know, I would love to get flattened by those players. I mean, they managed to break the SPP record of the Packers without any real effort. And they managed to do it, because they believe in Gorkenborg. And they brought Dewa properly onto the field.
Whoa! Everything okay?
Yes. Please continue.
Mort Jr. swore up and down that stunties ain't his specialty. But after this match, I'm calling hogwash. Win 23's farmers, fresh off a pirate raid, geared up for another invasion with Cindy Piewhistle and debuting Norscan beast Vinny Valhalla. Specialist in raids, no less. What'd you make of that star-studded lineup?
Imagine having enough money to call not one, but 2 star players. You either are a genius in Blood Bowl, or a corrupt manager that does not know what is he doing. Or probably both. Either way, this incredible surge in skills from the win -23 was worth for sure.
The slavers started sluggish, dropping the ball, and the halflings unleashed their dogs. What's your take on letting beasts loose on the pitch, Kozilek?
I do love animals, my friend. I got a fox from the gnomes, and I make my players play a game called Catch the Foxes. I strap the ball onto the fox back, and they are forced to retrieve it. Who fails is forced to not pray Shalia for a month. A truly terrible task.
Well, Thomas Gromph would have hated it, because he slipped on, let's call it dog mess, and fell so hard his head popped off. Brutal! The ref, clearly a dog lover, didn't eject Cindy or the mutt, and that pooch sprinted for Win 23's second touchdown.
There is no such things as a lenient ref in Blood Bowl. Either you pay them or you don't. The slaves lost this game for 2 main reasons. First, they are not praying the correct gods, and on second hand, they do lack proper animal control.
Good doggy. Waha treat?
Second half looked grim for the slavers. They had to bash through a merry mob of farmers. After a long slog, they broke through, but time ran out before they could raid the village again to even the score. Looks like the slavers got enslaved this time, Kozilek. What turned the tide?
The farmers brought their A-game in bashing, and not only managed to kick off the pitch 3 players, but they managed to keep the remaining always busy and forced them to take risks that they could not afford. And that's how you properly win in Blood Bowl, by capitalizing on your opponent mistake, just like we did.
Yo ho ho! A proper sea clash! The Black Abyss Kraken crew was gearing up for their usual raid when boom! They heard, "To the boarding!" Captain Varkas, gobsmacked, barely got out a confused, "What do you mean, to the boarding?" before he and his mates were shoved below deck. By the time our sea wolf came to, his crew was decimated by those Norse dwarfs. All hope rested on their big ogre. Too bad he was completely sloshed. What's your take on this match, Kozilek?
Ha 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 ha! The Sartosan clearly took some true lesson about piracy from the dwarves. They got outsmashed, outscored, and outsmarted. And worst thing of all, they had no booty left to claim or use to buy someone to help them improve. That was a shocking performance from those Norse dwarf.
Oi! I reckon Captain Varkas and his crew won't forget this thrashing from the Norse.
We had rotten luck, that's what. Thought we was raiding a Norskin Drakkar, all full of bearded humies doped up on weird brews, aye? But no! A bloody dwarfs! 10 of them stumpy drunken gits, plus a zoggin' pig! Nobody expect the stupid pig! So we have to...
Legged it.
What? Ain't legging it, you lippy humie! We just left the ship in a proper organized rush! Tactical-like.
Tactical dive into the drink. Water was bloody freezing.
Freezing? Barely chilly, you soft-skinned git.
Ice cold, boss. Mine toes nearly snapped off.
Enough, you zoggin' loudmouth! Whoa!
I'm still gobsmacked by this one. Take a look at this carnage!
As an orc, I can only say that the only good elf is the dead elf. Ha 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 ha! Prove me wrong!
That's right, folks. 3 elf corpses in just 2 turns. This massacre unfolded on a snowy pitch hosting the Canite Assassins and GKS Fresh Air. Those elves were tripping over themselves to make their coach weep with laughter. What went so wrong for them?
For the elves, nothing! I firmly believe that if you are a pointed ear person, you deserve that end. There is no salvation for those clowns, so they better join the pitch and look for a death that will be remembered. And trust me, those elves will be remembered as the best clown ever.
Second half, the ref took pity on the elves, letting their executioner play on. Probably the only bright spot for Nagaroth's lot. Also, he kinda looks suspicious, wouldn't you say?
Oh, the good old 3 goblin in a suit trick! It's my favorite! We even tried the 3 orc in a suit trick in a championship match against a troll team. It did not work properly, as they properly discovered the trick and rampaged to the pitch, but enough with the memories! The bright side, my friend, is that despite all the blood, the manage still finished with a winner, with a 1-0.
Aye, all thanks to Hayden Tranner, who somehow passed the ball. With an elf! Let's not pile on. The elves are bruised enough. 2 matches left. Let's keep the blood flowing. For these last 2 scraps, we had to wait ages. Oh yes, the tension was thicker than orc stew. Joseph Moranian's woodland beasts had time to put down roots. That explains their sluggish start. but the Relic Salon touchdown jolt was the wake-up call they needed.
Those undead Saurus surely learned their lesson by scoring in the first offensive drive and sending KO 2 of the Arumai's players. But then the fanciness of those strange teams stunned them so hard that they could not recover from all of those sparkling dashingness. With an amazing comeback, Arumai's coach managed to guide his people into not only scoring the touchdown, but breaking an undead frog and smashing another one in the KO box.
Second half, Joseph tried the same cage push, but Slon kept leaping in, gumming up the works. One leap went disastrously wrong. A falling nymph flicked the ball to Penelope. Safe to call that the play of the match?
Sadly, the rest of the game, despite the play you mentioned now, was pretty boring. A classic offensive drive by an agile team that went down by the book, allowing them to score without giving the opponent any chance to breathe. Thanks Xiaoya and Nuffle for that play that kept us glued to Cabal Vision.
You have a very hard task in this round. The Carrot Cracker Packers dominated the previous round. So what can you say about your match? Did you make any preparation for that?
Oh, I'm not going to lie. We asked our goddess what to do, and she told us to just ignore the match. This was an impossible task, and Nuffle already decided that the dwarves must win this group. So we humbly followed our goddess's request. You know, diplomatic reason between gods.
It didn't escape my notice that you hired a small but bloodthirsty squirrel for this match. Unfortunately, the poor thing was crushed while trying to tear apart the dwarf. Haven't you been visited by animal rights lovers?
Yes, indeed! Our goddess loves squirrels! She told us what to do, and we followed his little animal herald into the fray. A shame that Nuffle decided to interfere with the match. During the first half, we played as we usually do, smashing and scoring, and we even blocked the counter-offensive of the dwarf. But during the halftime, Shalia reminded us that we had to lose this game for the great balance to be held in place. And so we did. People in the infirmary did not come. And to make it even more realistic, we sacrificed a couple players for the blessing of the goddess. Sometimes you inflict the pain to bring joy. Sometimes you bear the pain to bring joy. It's all about that, my friend.
Time for the wrap-up. Just like last round, we've got an absurd pile of corpses. Another 6 dead players. If this keeps up, there'll be no one left to kick a ball by round 5.
Ha 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 ha! I don't think so, my friend. Blood Bowl is a beast that calls many, many people to his shrine, both veteran and rookies. And everyone dance under the shadow of the mighty Nuffle. There will be always someone to kick a ball on a pitch until the end of time.
Hero of the round? Hands down, Freya. Ah, that stunning orc lass. 2 touchdowns, crippled 2 opponents, and snagged MVP. Absolute monster performance. Wonder if she's got an OnlyFangs. I have to ask Coach Misha about that.
Ask it for a friend of mine, of course.
What do you want to see in the next round, Kozilek?
Justice! I can't wait to see if in the others groups Nuffle already picked a chosen team. And I would love to work with my guys in Shalia to become the favored one and reach the playoff stage.
Huge thanks to you, Coach Kozilek. Good luck in your next round against Joseph Moranian.
Thank you, but alas, we do not need luck. We rely only on the light of the goddess. Ha 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 ha! May your little self be blessed by her.
Stay warm, stay bloody. Henry Snotson out.
Snot League!